Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Denise. I'm a manifestation coach, and if you would like to book one-on-one coaching with me, there is a link in the description below. If you want to learn more about manifestation and law of assumption, please feel free to check out my other videos and go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Today we're going to talk about resentment, specifically getting over it. I know that can be a struggle for a lot of people out there, and it was a struggle for me too. It was something that I didn't want to do. um, so we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about why you don't want to do it, even though you may already know that. And we're going to talk about why it's beneficial for you and how you can do it. So I want to start out by reminding you that with everything, all things law of assumption, that foundation, that your reality is the reflection of your state of consciousness, your self concept, your thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs. All three of those things I'm using interchangeably to define the same thing. It is your inner world being outpictured and reflected back to you. So, that in and of itself is a great motivator to learn to get over resentment or to help you get over resentment, because there's nothing outside of you ever that has done or is doing anything to you. Every interaction you have, your whole reality, all of the relationships in your reality are revealing to you the thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs that you believe to be true about yourself. That's it. So it's through these thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs, or through whatever's manifesting or whatever you're thinking in your mind that feels negative and uncomfortable. Where does that take you in terms of what's the belief under it? What are you deciding is true for you based off of what has happened, right? So if you're manifesting an experience where you're feeling like you're not being chosen because of someone's behavior outside of you, you want to get to the bottom of it's not the behavior that's making you feel unchosen. The behavior is the manifestation of the feeling that already exists within you. And it has been now it's being outpictured and it's being reflected back to you. So that feeling of not feeling enough, not feeling chosen, that already existed within you. And if you stop and reflect back, you can find that it was. You can find a point in time where you were feeling that way, where you were thinking thoughts that were along the lines of being worried about that happening, or being worried about feeling that way again, or dwelling in a past situation where you had felt that way, right? And so that's what's happening is you're pushing it out, and then you're reviewing it or seeing it play out in front of you and assuming that it's that circumstance, that situation, that person that is making you feel this way. They're not. They're just revealing, triggering, showing you something that you already believe to be true within you. So it's always beneficial to look at whatever's happening in your reality and or what's happening in your imagination that feels uncomfortable, and ask, what is this telling me about myself? Not why is it happening, but what is the message? I'm feeling this way based off of what has happened, and what is that telling me that I believe to be true about myself? What are the beliefs that I'm holding that are true, or that feel true, that are triggering me, that are making me frustrated, making me sad, making me upset, right? And if it's a belief that I'm not chosen, that I'm not enough, you are always enough, right? You want to go back in and not seeking the validation, not seeking that external validation, not needing the reflection for you to know you're already enough, because the reflection can only reflect back what you at some point in time got into the feeling state of. Okay, so that's the other thing is when things are going good in your reality, when your thoughts are feeling good about yourself, you're feeling confident, you're feeling enough, reality's reflecting that back to you, even then, you don't want to put too much emphasis on what's happening externally. You want to still acknowledge and recognize that this is a reflection of your internal state, or a state that you had previously accepted as true for you. It may not be current in the moment. Either way, it probably will be if you're manifesting it based off of a previous belief, assumption, state that you were in, but it's likely that since you're manifesting it and viewing it, you're in that state again as a result, right? Which is fine. You're riding that feedback loop in a positive way. That's great. But I would urge you to still always get into that power of, oh, yes, this is me. Thank you, me. Thank you, self. Thank you, God. Thank you, I am. I created this for myself, and acknowledge for yourself that this is everything outside of you, whether you view it as positive or negative, is nothing more than a reflection of a state that you had resided in. It's nothing more than a reflection of beliefs and assumptions that you held. That's it. And so getting over resentment can be really beneficial, right? I mean, we have to get over it to move forward and create better relationships with people, especially if it's with your specific person. Even if it's not, you're still going to want to exercise that and not needing the validation, not defining yourself by the lack of validation, right? Either way, it's either way. You don't seek the validation and you don't allow the lack of validation define that you're not enough, or define that you're not important, or that you're not loved, or that you're not chosen, right? We want to step into that. I am loved. I am love. Therefore, I am loved. Who I love loves me. I am always chosen. And then look at where you're not choosing yourself. And it often is just in those thoughts. If we're thinking from the perspective of being ignored, not being important enough for someone to put in effort or choose us or communicate with us or whatever it is, we are thinking unlovingly of ourselves. And so you kind of want to erase this other person out of the equation altogether. In other words, they're not really relevant and they don't actually matter. They're just a tool. They're a reflection. That's it. They're a mirror. They're the equipment for you to see what you're thinking to be true, what you're doing within. If you're not aware of it, it will get pushed out and you'll get to see it through the behaviors of those around you. So it's an opportunity for you to shift whatever the truth, the thing you think to be true is being triggered within. Sorry, I feel like I'm stumbling over my words with that one, but nonetheless. So it's not, when you learn to get over resentment about someone in your life, which is really just a reflection, you're really doing it for you. You're doing yourself a favor. You're healing a wound within you that has been hurt. And instead of continuing to reopen that wound every time you think about how they did you wrong, practice revising the memory, reimagine it in a way that you wished it would have gone down, reimagine it in your most ideal memory, like a most ideal chosen memory, right? You don't want to settle for anything in between. If you're reimagining, go all the way, exactly how you would have preferred it. Regardless of if it makes sense to you or if it feels natural or if it feels normal, you're reimagining it. You're being the operant power. There's no limit to how you reimagine it. And I have found that when I do revision, when I had done it in the past and I had kind of compromised because I wanted it to kind of make sense, I didn't have the same results from it. It didn't feel the same. I don't want to say it didn't work, but it worked. But it's like, because I was, instead of revising that, let's say there was an argument, instead of revising that the argument just never happened, I would revise so that it brought us closer. It was okay. It was not, and that can be fine, but that's not my ideal. My ideal would have been that it never happened, right? So when you practice revision, always go to your ideal and just use that. And again, I have a video on that, but it's 3 to 7 seconds, I feel like, is totally ideal for me. The little scene that you're imagining, you loop, 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 loop until you feel the satisfaction within as if it happened that way. And then you're done. So holding on to resentment, and there's sayings about this too. Holding on to resentment is just hurting you, right? Like, that's it. You're just hurting you. You're choosing to stay in a self-concept of I'm hurt, I'm angry, I'm a victim. And you really want to practice acknowledging that, like shining the light on that and admitting that that's what you are. So accountability as the creator. I created this. No one did this to me. They're reflecting back thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs that I held about myself. They're reflecting back fears that I was focused on, something I didn't want to happen that I kept finding my brain going to, and now it's manifested. And that's okay. I mean, the truth be told, the reality is less real than the imaginal act. The imaginal act is where you first decided it. The imaginal act is where you chose it as the operant power. You got into a feeling state about something undesirable and you created it in that moment. This is just the reflection of it playing out. Like from the time you created it up until the time it plays out, unless you had put conscious effort into shifting into the state of not creating that, it's going to play out. It's just a reflection, right? It's just like when you look in the mirror. I mean, we can't see the time delay because we're not that, our eyes aren't that quick. But when you step in front of a mirror, it takes, however much time for that reflection to get back to your eyes. Now it's nanoseconds, I'm sure. We don't even notice it, but it's the same concept. Things travel, right? Like our manifestations also take time, some of them. Some things happen very quickly. But you got to understand that when this thing has played out that you were fearful of or put conscious effort on or effort into, put your awareness into this thing that now is playing out or has played out, that part was inevitable. And actually, it's great because now you've manifested it. Maybe you've manifested your worst fear. Well, you're still here. Everything's okay. And it's dead, done, and gone. So now you can reimagine where you want to go from here and use that wisdom and understanding that the thing that played out was a reflection of these thoughts I had. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. I had the fear. I had the thought. I got into a feeling state of it. Not even intentionally, maybe, but you certainly didn't intentionally get out of the feeling state of it. And I'm saying you, but I'm guilty of this. I've definitely done this. Many of you know my story. I manifested so many undesirable things over and over again. But we're done with that stuff. We don't do that anymore. Now we're on the up and up. we're learning, right? We're getting there. We're disciplining ourselves more and more, and we're expanding our consciousness more and more. So, yeah, the thing playing out, it had to happen. It had to happen. And the faster you take accountability for it and stop looking at the person that did the thing as the enemy and you're the victim, or they're the perpetrator, you're the victim, you want to start understanding you created it. There is no victim. This is all you. It's just all you. So, or you play all roles if you want to look at it that way. So get into that state of empowerment with it. Even though it's a negative thing, you can still tap into the empowerment of I created this. I created this. I had a fear. I was having feelings about it and it manifested. That's okay. It's totally okay. No shame, no judgment, no I shouldn't have, or I wish I didn't, or why did I, or what's wrong with me. None of that. We're accepting, we're loving, it's okay. Look how powerful I am and I can change this. I'm just going to work on the discipline of viewing my reality and myself in imagination and as I'm interpreting my 3D from the perspective of me being loved, me being chosen, me being cared for, me being safe, right? Instead of assuming that others are out to get you or assuming that your person is lying to you or there's something you need to find out. If you feel like you need to find out that if there's another person or something like that, then you will manifest that. Very likely. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say you will. You are very likely to manifest that, right? If you stay in that state, if you continue to look, if you continue to think that maybe there's somebody else or whatever it is, like that's going to manifest. And that's because you're the operant power. It's not because this person really is doing this thing that you thought they'd be doing and you're right, like you're like Scooby-Doo and it at the end of the film, aha, and I knew it. No, you created it. You selected it from the infinite possibilities of what could have happened. Each now moment is where all the power lies. Your reality is completely malleable. There is no definitive, he's a cheater or she's a cheater. That's not true. That's not true. All versions exist. All of creation is finished. The faithful version is there. You're just not selecting it through your consciousness because you're perceiving your reality in your imagination and in your 3D from a victim state of I'm going to be hurt and this person has the power to do it. So that's why you want to get over resentment, is because it doesn't serve you. It's not going to help you move forward. And it's all you anyway. Nothing outside of you has done anything to you. Your whole reality and everyone in it is following the script that you've written. That's it. What is the quote? Neville's quote that I can never remember when I want to. Like anything else in this world, I'm so good at remembering things, especially when I want to. Um, People will show up with it, whatever they will do, they will think, they will be whatever you're whispering in private. So, whatever stories you're telling in your mind, whatever thoughts you're holding of your reality, of yourself in relation to all these people in your life, or your love, your boss, your coworkers, your friends, anybody, your family, the thoughts you're whispering in your mind in private when you're alone in your head, that's what will be played out. That's what you're going to see. That's how they're going to show up. And they have no other choice. So it's not their fault. It's nobody's fault, but it certainly isn't their fault because they are just a reflection of you. So you want to step into empowerment, right? I am the operant power. I am the creator of my reality. My thoughts and assumptions are manifesting this experience. I am in a 3D that is the reflection of my self-concept or my state of consciousness or my thoughts, assumptions, and beliefs. And that's all that this is. And it's an opportunity for me to ask myself, are these beliefs true? Absolutely not. None of them are. None of them are. So you can choose any belief at any moment in time. And this moment, the now moment, is where all your power lies. So practice that and persist. And if you have to continue to choose it in each now moment, that's okay. Just let yourself drop that other story over and over again. You just keep dropping it. Not true for me. Not true for me. This thing is happening, or this thing isn't happening. It's making me feel not chosen. That's not true for me. That's not truth. I don't have to identify with that. I don't have to carry that around with me. I am always chosen. I am love. I am love. The kingdom of heaven is within. I am fulfillment. My desires are a promise. My desires are a gift. All right? Okay, there's my video. I love you guys. I'll see you next video. Bye.